Say that we're influenced by so many things around us, and we're influenced by how deliberate those things are, how strengthened they are, the structure that they have. So the nature of a country, its culture is established by its beliefs, which creates an energetic structure which we become influenced by when we're in that particular place. You go to Australia, you go to India, you go to America, you feel the difference, but it's that energetic structure that's there. The issue is that we lack our own integrity and our own understanding of ourselves to develop our own energetic structure. You see, if we want to have energy flow through us, we need a structure that we want energy to flow through, that supports us, that enlivens and engages us. So what I teach people how to do is not to fulfill or do my particular process, but is to understand how they engage with their own individual capacities, how they can activate those, and then how they can utilize a particular set of processes to establish their own energetic structure so that they can become an influence on the environment around them, to take them away from being subjected to the environment, but to create the environment, to recognize, I suppose getting past the idea that anyone needing to be in control of anything is because they're not in control of themselves. That when we can come to understand, and I'd suggest to you that understanding is the key and the critical thing in everything we do. We have these courses that teach us how to clear beliefs. But if we don't understand ourselves through the clearing of that belief will return and will come back, and eventually we'll get so frustrated with it that it'll be maintained because we just allow ourselves to fall into the fact that we're not going to get rid of it. But when we understand something, it integrates and we allow it to become a part of our fabric because we release what we used to know to become present to what we currently do. So understanding is critical. Understanding releases all belief structures. Understanding elevates our own awareness. Understanding is the very thing that causes us to take action that allows us to move forward. See, the very stagnance of our life is the nature of the ego, is when we get caught up and we start to focus upon other people's information, other people's ideas, what other people expect of us, and the consequences of our own life rather than what's happening right now. You see, when we are connected, what we become present to is the opportunities that exist in front of us. And for some of us, that is overwhelming, because we don't actually want to take action. We don't actually want to have the opportunity, because then we have the possibility of failing. Then we have, more importantly, the possibility of succeeding. And I would suggest deep within all of us is this great significance that we are so fearful of. It is unknown, and it's uncharted by so many of us that it remains unknown. We've supposedly explored the solar systems. We've mapped the lands, we've looked deep into the seas, but we still don't understand the very fabric of what we are internally that is observing all of these things. So this significance is the greatest fear that I suggest that we have, and it lacks a great depth of understanding. But it's not just the understanding, it's how do we actually go about navigating our own selves to get to a point where we trust the information that we're receiving. I mean, so often we get caught up and influenced by what other people are saying, what other people said, what we remembered, what we were told, people that are bigger than us as we perceive, the history of the past and how significant that is and how much it's been told and told and told, and it rolls over us rather than us allowing our own self to stand in our own awareness and our own truth and be able to create in our own space. Because the biggest thing for each of us is to recognize that in each and every moment that we have choice. No matter how far we've stepped back into our own hole, no matter how far we've retreated, at each particular moment we have choice. And if we don't recognize that, we remove ourselves from this ability to create. And for most of us, we are caught up in this point in life where we're looking to enlighten ourselves. And I mean, in enlightening ourselves is to let go of what we used to know, is to become present to this particular moment, is not to come into this moment with an agenda of what we used to know. It's about coming to this moment completely as if it was the very first time that I'd experienced myself at this particular time, so I could engage my greatest depth and level of creativity. For some of us, when we're freed from all this stuff that we're carrying around, we think we've grown, we think we've evolved, we think we've now made it. You see, the truth is that it's at this particular point that we just start to begin the journey. It's when we can start to allow ourselves to facilitate a connection with ourselves. Before that, we're dealing with the past, we're dealing with this timeline that separates us from right now. That we believe there's such thing as the future, as the past, because we're avoiding this very moment where we can create. And the whole nature of our own self is getting to that starting point so we can start to do some masterful work and create. To get past these ideas that we need to be in pain, that we need to sacrifice something, that chaos is a normal part of life. You see, everything we have is just our relationship to it, and I would suggest that when we start to focus upon what it is that exists within us, and when we can elicit the attention upon ourselves for a longer period of time and maintain the listening, the observance and the expression of our own wisdom, that we will start to change our lives. Thank you for listening.